Welcome to another episode of Off the Leash, brought to you by the Racing Post in association with Premier Greyhound Racing. We are back once again, episode number 70. Tony Bullen, open race correspondent at the Racing Post, joins us as ever off the back of a successful week of tipping. Tony, we did all right last week.
Yeah, particularly from your front, Dave. I think you found every final winner. Nat obliged, and my Nat managed to win. So, yeah, all good.
We go again. We dust ourselves off and we go again. Now, we don't have any big racing to preview this week. There's loads to look back on, and believe me, there is plenty. We are going to bring you the schedule, what is upcoming as well. A dog that is a star of the future, a star of now to look forward to at Romford as well. I think is going to be making waves in the Puppy Cup. But we will look back at the big races as well as looking forward to beyond this week and, of course, giving you our best bets of the week. Do remember to get involved with the show. Like, comment and subscribe. If you want to watch the racing, make sure you jump on to the Premier Greyhound Racing stream. You can get that behind the red button on Sky, behind the red button on Virgin Media, and of course on their stream as well. Sky Sports Racing, red button there. Before we do start, there was loads of racing that happened over the weekend. On Saturday night, it was the final meeting at Perry Barr. Perry Barr is now closed. Now, of course, it's sad, but a slightly different story this time, Tony, in that a track is closing, but at the same time, we've got this brand new shiny one reopening. We're recording this on a Wednesday morning, and trials are happening as we speak at Dunstall Park.
Yeah, we went to see the track in progress as it was being developed, Dave. And, I mean, the facilities are second to none. The kennel area is very impressive indeed. And that's the first thing that you need to get right, really. Like the nice and roomy, nice and spacious for the dogs. They've got the nice vet area. So that ticks a huge box. Obviously, it's always difficult to tell how a track's going to run because we haven't seen a dog go round the circumference. They had a load of charts up comparing with the different tracks that we've got. But until you see it in the flesh, it's difficult to gauge. I did have a conversation with a few people. I said, why don't you just pick up the Coventry template and build another Coventry? But apparently restrictions and regulations deny that. I don't know. It's bigger than me, that side of it. But I always think if any template was worth picking up, the Coventry one would be the one.
Well, I remember the conversation having with yourself. We were up in the car on our way to Wolverhampton. I said to you, I hope this is not going to be as far away as Toaster, because at the end of the day, there's always going to be a race course in between the punter and the action. I came away thinking, I don't think that's too bad. This gives us a chance. Like, the sport's not booming and thriving, but this could be, I think I called it a beacon of hope, in the Midlands, in a piece I wrote in the Racing Post. It looks the part. Like you say, we've not seen a race there yet, but everyone behind the track, there's been a hell of a lot of money spent, a lot of effort, time, planning gone in, with big plans as well. Oaks is going to be there, the St Ledger, they've got aspirations to host the Derby. Like this, if it does work, this is going to be incredible.
Yeah, and then as you touched on the travelling side of things, you've got the hotel on site, you've got the trains, the getting there is not an issue. As I say, I think pictures, it is far away, like it is far away to what the norm are accustomed to. Like the days where the sand kicks in your face, you don't necessarily get that anymore with tracks, but it's a lot closer when you're at the venue than it looks on pictures. With a picture, you think, geez, I'm going to need the old toaster binoculars. But hopefully it works. I just want to see dogs go around there, and I don't want another sort of... When you build a track from a blank canvas, you should get it right, and I just hope that the racing unravels how the dogs are accustomed to it.
Well, exciting times ahead. Watch this space, Dunstall Park. It will be open to the public in September. Trials are starting, so exciting times ahead. Sad Perry Barr is closed. But incredible facilities about to open inside Wolverhampton Racecourse, known as Dunstall Park. Right, let's look back then on the wonderful action over the weekend, and we are going to go to the Wolverhampton area, just down the road from Dunstall Park, Monmore Green. There was 2 finals on the card, both sponsored by Ladbrokes, the £10,000 Summer Stayers Classic and the £10,000 Gold Cup. We'll start with the Summer Stayers Classic. Now, we had the big 2 in the market dominating the betting here, 5 runners. Trap 1, New Destiny. Trap 5, Vagar, both for the champion trainer Mark Wallace, who was looking for a 100th Category 1 success, which is incredible. And it was Vagar that did the business there, 37.54. Cloner Ice third in track 4. It was a 5.14. And we mentioned this in the preview last week, Tony. This race could revolve around what Antigua Kestrel does out of track 2 early doors, and it did prove quite crucial.
Yeah, that's why I did fear for Gary the Arb. You always felt Antigua Kestrel was going to be setting the target for the others to aim at, and it was a case, as we touched on, whoever sort of was turned in front of her at the third bend out of Vagar New Destiny was probably going to go on to land the spoils. But this Vagar, I mean, New Destiny's got a brilliant CV, but I do feel that Vagar's taken over the baton of top bitch in Mark Wallace's kennel, because this was very impressive. Nice middle pace, stayed very strongly. I mean, New Destiny couldn't lay a glove on her kennel, mate. Very good time as well. So all-round performance from Vagar.
Yeah, perhaps a change of the guard. I think we'll see New Destiny one more time in a 5.75 competition at Romford. A 1-2 for Mark Wallace and a 1-2 for the MWD partnership. A mention for Mark Wallace, 100 Category 1s. You'd know better than me, Tony. You know, your dad was a successful trainer. You was a part of the kennel as well. 100 Category 1s is incredible.
Oh, yeah. I mean, obviously, Mark's got a bit bigger range than, like, my dad was always a one-man and his dog type. We only ever had 2-3 dogs maximum.
But just to be regularly churning out big race winners is just remarkable.
It is incredible. I mean, in recent times, they've really had a stranglehold. I mean, every event you look at, Mark Wallace, MWD partnership, anti-post favourite, if not first 3 in the betting. So it just shows you the ammunition that they've got in current times, and it won't be long before it's 101.
No, yeah, quite right. And it was looking like it might be 101 very shortly after, because the second final was the Ladbrokes Gold Cup, and Ahmadahi was a runner in Trap 5, but it wasn't to be. It was success for the JR Racing Syndicate. Jack Russell, Gavin Mahoney, Rob Howe, trainer Maxine Locke, a second big race success as well for their Headford Dania in Trap 4. Widest of the railers out in Trap 4, but the draw worked out nice for him. Ginger's Prince stepped inside in 3. It was Headford Dane, 27.79. Jack Tavern Chief in 6. Ahmadahi in 5. This dog stays his trip very, very strongly. And I said on the show last week, this is a 500-metre dog running over the 480.
This really blew me away. This was immense, this performance, because, I mean, Glenfoot's got Jack Tavern Chief to come away running, but so did Connections of Headford Dane. And it was a race where a start was going to be vital, but the way Headford Dane, he made them look average. The way he just quickened up in the second half, and as you touched on, strong as an ox, powering away in an awesome 27.79. Obviously, you mentioned before he'd even set foot on the track, Connections thought a lot of him, went on to win the Puppy Derby over course and distance, but I'm really interested to see what he does away from Monmore, Dave, because this is a proper dog.
Yeah, strong 4 bends would suit him, so well done to all involved there. Won the Premier Greyhound Racing Puppy Derby, now the winner of the Ladbrokes Gold Cup, both at Monmore, so double big race success for the team. Right, then we move on to what was an incredible night of racing at Nottingham on Monday night, and the stars of the future on show. Romeo Alliance went to the traps in the £12,500 Arena Racing Company Puppy Classic final as the dog to beat. He was unbeaten. He'd won the Juvenile Classic out of trap 1. Surely he was just going to bang out a May call. Another winner for Patrick Janssens and Dave Firmager. He did win, but he would have been having a scary moment if you got involved at short prices out the boxes, because he was far from fluent when coming away. He did score out of trap 1, 29.24. Whiskey Elsa for Nathan Hunt in trap 3 set the early pace, and Droopy's Poker in the stripes for Monmore trainer Kim Billingham Hine landed us the place, part of the price-wise pick at 33-1. But this dog, he didn't do it right in the boxes, Tony, but he was just different class.
Yeah, he had a bit in hand on the clock, so he didn't come away as Connections would have hoped, but he was the class dog in the race. And he once he got in pursuit of the outside of Whiskey Elsa, who Connections must be delighted with. I mean, to run her heart out. But Romeo Alliance is a dog that's just absolutely in conquering form at the moment. Time was there. I know Nottingham's been running quick at the minute, but it was a professional performance, and he's going to be a big player in the produce stakes at Swindon coming up Saturday. To be true, it's probably one of the worst produce stakes I've ever seen. Normally you get 72 dogs. They've only got 36 this year. And I think Patrick Janssens, I don't think the bookmakers will be laying you any odds that Janssens wins it.
Yeah, strong team indeed. Of course, Romeo Ability, I think, lowered the 480 metre clock on the night as well. Fabulous Hecker lowered the colours of Monge's Wild. It was a great night for Patrick and his team. He was represented, of course, in the Select Stakes as well, which we'll get to now. £12,500 to win the Arena Racing Company Select Stakes. The best of the best, invitation only, one lap of the track, and it included the Derby champion, Droopy's Plunge, for Patrick Janssens in Trap 3. It was a stellar lineup. Chelmsford Bear on the inside, Silver Hill Freya, the Irish Bitch in Trap 2. Droopy's Plunge was in 3, Wiki Ned was in 4. And then we have Romeo still, a dog who is just on fire at the moment with massive early pace in 5, and Slick Sentinel, a Derby semi-finalist in the stripes. Now, before we get to this race, you'll often hear myself and Tony saying, if you're going to have a bet, make sure you're kind of watching the replays, educate yourself. You can do all of that on the Greyhound Bet Racing Post website. Jump onto there. We've got every single race replay you need to see, lifetime form of greyhounds. And here is a great example of how you can use it. So we are looking at the Select Stakes that was on Monday night. But if we go back to, I think it was November last year, Droopy's Plunge was fastest heat winner in the Eclipse over the 500 metres at Nottingham. This was what he did out of Trap 3. And this was a key line of video form for you to look at. He raced out of Trap 3. He's a tight railer. He dived inside, squeezed the inside up. I wrote in the Racing Post, he could do the same again here. Wiki Ned has probably got the draw of all draws. You must watch the replays, educate yourself, get armed, and take it to those pesky bookmakers. So that was the play. Wiki Ned, he had the draw here, and this is what unfolded in the Select Stakes on Monday night. Droopy's Plunge once again squeezed up the inside, but Wiki Ned, Tony, out of Trap 4, 29.22. He stepped up to 6 bends, took him apart in the 3 steps to victory final. He picked up a niggle at Shelbourne Park, but Jimmy Fenwick ironed him out, straight as you like, brilliant as ever. What a dog this is.
Yeah, what a dog. I mean, the Derby come too soon for him early in his career. He made an early exit, but other than that, he's done everything for connections on his travels, over 4 and 6 bends, and this was another professional performance. The Romeo Still dog, I wasn't too concerned about him because he does tend to move off sometimes when he's drawn on the inside, and it was just a case of Wiki Ned getting a start, and he did. He come away lovely from Trap 4, and although Romeo Still used his sprinting early pace to try and get up the inside at the third bend, you always knew Wiki Ned, he probably heard and felt the presence of a rival challenging. He kicked again. That's what I like with Wiki Ned. If you look back even early in his career, you think he's going to come back to the field, and he just finds more and more. And he was powering home at the finish. Droopy's Plunge has run a creditable race after a little bit of crowding early. And Chelmsford Bear, he was always going to be running on through beaten rivals. But yeah, Wiki Ned, he's a joy to watch him full flight.
Greyhound of the year. There you go, in full flight indeed. 4-3-1, 29-22, Droopy's Plunge and Chelmsford Bear in second and third. Good to see the Derby champion back in action. It was a poor draw for him, Tony, but we know he's, listen, you don't win a Derby, by accident or get lucky to win a Derby. He's a class act.
Yeah, he is. I mean, and he's run well. Like, as I say, he didn't really see much daylight until halfway, but by then, Wiki Ned's on the bunny. And he ain't a short runner, as he showed in the 3 steps to victory.
Yeah, tough nut to crack. So good winner there, and a great race as well, as ever. The Select Stakes, one of the best races of the year. Right, we weren't short on content to look back on this week, but we were a little bit short on what to preview. But I can tell you it's going to be a busy time coming up. Just check this out. This is the schedule coming up. East Anglian Derby final, the Coral Puppy Cup final, the Premier Greyhound Racing St Ledger. It's going to be at Nottingham this year, of course, over the 730 metres. The Birmingham Cup's going to be not in Birmingham, at Nottingham. And we've got the Produce Stakes as well, as Tony mentioned. Patrick Janssens and Dave Firmager, a strong hand there. So that is all coming up. We're going to cover all that right here on Off the Leash to furnish you with everything you need to know for the racing on the Premier Greyhound Racing Service. One of those competitions, Tony, is the Coral Puppy Cup. And there was a dog that was unleashed, and that is the only way you can describe this dog. Unleashed, a superstar unleashed on UK soil, unbeaten over in Ireland. He lowered the track record 3 times at Tralee. Magical Luca for Kevin Hutton. He ran in heats of a novice stake on Friday night. The final is this Friday. You're not allowed to nap him this week because he's going to be very, very short. He's probably going to be about 6, 7, 8 to 1 on. But this was his debut run in the UK. 23.53 in a trial. We backed it up with a 23.68. And what a ball of speed this dog is.
Yeah, and I mean, as the traps opened, it wasn't like it was an electric start, but within 3 or 4 strides, you could just see how quick the dog is. And I like the way he ran the opening couple of bends, Dave. He took lengths out of the opposition by doing that, and then down the back straight, you could just see he's a proper dog. Not many dogs go, and I don't think I've seen many qualify in and do 23.50s and 60s in first trials. So for him to put it into practice on debut under race conditions, he's going to be a warm order for the Puppy Cup. He's certainly going to be a warm order on Friday for sure.
Yeah, he was obviously owned and trained by trainer Pat Guilfoyle over in Ireland. My understanding, unofficially, is that there was some big numbers turned down, people trying to buy this dog. Pat's kept hold of him. He reached out to Kevin Hutton, said, you fancy training this dog maybe for the Puppy Cup? Kevin Hutton, by his own admission, managed to find space in a busy kennel for him, which I'm sure didn't take too long. And Kevin, look, he won the Golden Sprint, the biggest race of the year down at Romford back in March. And he said to me, I've had some really fast dogs go around Romford, Golden Sprints, Puppy Cups. This dog is miles clear of anything. This is the fastest dog I've ever put around Romford. What an exciting dog for us to look forward to, Tony, and probably going to be the shortest priced favourite for a Puppy Cup in history in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah, indeed. As I say, he's going to be priced accordingly. The only thing with Romford, it's a great leveller. I know, like there are only pups, but you do make a mess at the start. It don't matter if you can go from a 23.50, 60 dog to a 24.30 dog. So any given Friday at Romford, nothing's ever set in stone. But one thing's for sure, it seems like he's probably going to dish out more punishment on Friday, and then it'll see all guns blazing for the Puppy Cup.
Yeah, such an exciting dog. So looking forward to seeing him running again on Friday night and in this year's Puppy Cup at Romford. Right, it is that time of the week then. We're in good form. So hopefully we can go again here. Best bets of the week. Tony Bullen, open race correspondent at the Racing Post, joins us as ever. And where are we off to, Tony, for this week's nap?
Yeah, opens with Finn on the ground at the time of recording. Last week, we napped one, Yahoo Marik. And I'm going to Sunderland this week. It's a heats arena company standard, like 450 metres at Sunderland. And there's a race. The Heat 1 is an identical race to what I put my nap up last week. There's no early in the race. Whereas Punch a Hole, the local from Graham Strike's kennel, I think it's guaranteed an uncontested lead. He shows his best form when out in front. I think he'll trap on terms, open up a winning advantage. Job done. That's the 7:41 at Sunderland on Friday, Dave.
Job done. I'm going to go Friday night as well this week. Not to Sunderland, I'm going to go to Romford. And an old favourite, a big race champion, Fabulous Sonique, who lines up in the 8.19 over the 5.75. An incredible record over course and distance. A good race. The level of opposition here is good. But I do still think she's got the early pace to cut loose. And I think she might be a backable price. Went down to Monmore, turned over over the 480. Might get a price about Fabulous Sonique here. She races from Trap 4. Not an issue. She won the Coronation Cup in the black jacket. She goes in the 8.19. I think she'll just cut loose again. And I think she'll be a backable price this week. So if it's not broke, don't fix it. Fabulous Sonique over the 5.75. Yes, please. So punch a hole for Tony and Fabulous Sonique for me. All the action live on the Premier Greyhound Racing service on Friday night. Right, Tony, it's been an absolute pleasure as ever. It feels like a bit of a chilled one this week. We're not going for a million heats and semi-finals and picking through trap draws. But that is all to come. There's no rest, is there? You're obviously the man that prices up and makes selections for all the open races, and a busy time coming up.
Yeah, it's non-stop. It's a breath of fresh air when the competitions come along, though, because like your day-to-day run-of-the-mill opens now. I feel like I've become a graded correspondent at times. I mean, there's some dogs that shouldn't even be in these opens, like going off at 66 to 1. But that's the nature of the beast at the moment. But it is really enjoyable when you can get your teeth stuck into these proper competitions.
We will be doing all of that, and there's loads of that coming up right here on Off the Leash, and you'll be able to watch it all on the Premier Greyhound Racing service. Let us know in the comments below if you've been backing the winners, following us in, and which competitions and dogs you are looking forward to seeing in the coming weeks and months. You out there, do get involved with us. Remember to gamble responsibly and enjoy the greyhound racing. And we'll see you next week.